Hashim, and I will be serving as your moderator today. You will be hearing a presentation from Prof. Datin Ruzy Suzila Hashim on this very timely subject. But before we get started, I wanted to take a few minutes of your time. The audience can submit questions by typing them in the chat box. We will address some questions after our speaker end the presentation. Then, finally, we will leave time for a more extended Q&A session, inshallah. Before the presentation begin, allow me to introduce the prominent speaker. Prof. Datin Ruzy Suzila Hashim is a professor from Faculty of Social Sciences and Humanities, Center for Research in Language and Linguistics, Universiti Kebangsaan, Malaysia. In 1999, she received her PhD from the University of Otago in New Zealand. She has been teaching for more 30 years and expert in the field of arts and applied arts and specialization on Malaysia literature, comparative literature, revisionary writings and action research. Some of her significant achievements are the winner of Malaysia's Research Star Award 2019 for category Research and Innovation Excellence in Arts and Applied Arts Researcher, recipient of local and international grants, and is a member of the United Kingdom Research and Innovation UKRI College member. She was a panel that selected the C. Wright Award and the Malaysian Literary Award recipient. Without further ado, I would like to welcome our speaker, Prof. Datin Ruzy Suzila Hashim. She will deliver a sharing session entitled Tips for Winning PRGS Grant. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Prof. Datin Ruzy Suzila Hashim. Please, Prof.
Thank you, Dr. Hema. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. Thank you for being here. I think this is my last time presenting to you because I am retiring in August. So you have to find another person next year if you should, but there are so many other people around that could, give you tips for winning whatever grants that you want to apply. Okay, I shall try and share my slide. Can you see this? Yes?
Yes, Prof. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, it's quite easy to say the wrong Suliza. People call me sometimes Suliza Salam and whatever. But never mind, it's okay. It's just a name, okay? Right. So first, we have to remember the philosophy of PRGS, okay, which is because when you apply for PRGS, you have to your work, your proposal must fall within their vision of what PRGS is. So many of the prototypes that have been developed failed to be commercialized because they are still in the early stages of development. For continuity, the Prototype Research Grant Scheme, PRGS, was established to bridge the gap between research findings and commercialization for the purpose of creating new technologies in line with the needs of K economy and the implementation of the new economic model. So you see the last two lines of this, it's just two sentences, but the last two lines of the paragraph, I think the main thing they want to do is your work, your proposal or your research must fall within the country's agenda. Okay, so that's very important to remind ourselves as you prepare your proposal. Okay. Right. First, I'll just go through the various things you need to take, okay? Because it's important for the green box especially, um, because that's where if you tick the wrong box, that's where the wrong people will probably review your proposal. So the national priority areas, now this is something we need to put in, a KPT needs to put in based on MOSTI's recommendations. So some of you may not see your area here. I don't see my area here, but it's okay. For this one, you're forgiven if you just tick any box you like. All right. So for the yellow, you still need to tick one box, so you can just tick whatever you like. um, but for the research cluster and for the research domains, you must tick the right box. Okay, so I am the head of social and economic well-being, and under that cluster, there are social science, arts and applied arts, and um, uh, what is it, natural and cultural heritage. So I look after these three domains. Although for each domain there is a head. Okay, there is a head for each domain. Um, Therefore, I'm not sure whether I'm talking to people from the social sciences only or both social sciences and science and technology. But you have to identify yourself, your discipline and your area, your thrust, uh, from one of these clusters or research domains. And it is important for you to identify the right one, because we will match the cluster and domain you choose with your profile on my grants. Okay, so let's say you put in education and knowledgeable civil society, but your profile, which has your research, where you put in your research and your publications, will tell us something different. So therefore, match your cluster and your domain with the profile you register in my grants. Okay. Um, okay, then, and remember I talked about how you got to fulfill, or you got to fall within, your work must fall within the country's agenda. So KPT has chosen 3 parameters by which you should fulfill your work. The first one is MYSTIE, and this is a 10 by 10 matrix that, and it has got the science and technology drivers as well as the social sciences, the drivers for social sciences. So you look at this, and then if you are from the SNT, you tick one of those. Which one your which what does your where does your work fall in? Is it 5G, 6G? Is it blockchain? Is it cyber security and encryption? Okay, so the important thing is when you identify which driver your work falls within, then in the impact, there's a section for impact. You try and link the impact with the whatever you've chosen from here or from the socioeconomic drivers. Okay, you must make the link, because you want to see the link that you are trying to make in the section for impact. Okay, so first is the MYSTIE, and then the WKB. There are 15 KGAs. KGAs are key economic growth areas. So you got to see whether which KGA you're working in. Okay. And the next one is the SDG. There are 17 goals, but for KPT, there are 18 goals. So I'm in charge of societal harmony and happiness. So you can tick that if you like. Okay. So with each of these parameters, you need to put them, like the last 2 sentences of your executive summary. Say 1 or 2 sentences about the MYSTIE, SDG, and WKB. How your work encompasses these three parameters, these three agendas of the country. Right. So the aim of FRGS is to sorry, it's Malay here. Penyelidikan lanjutan hasil daripada grant bersifat fundamental sama ada FRGS. So it must come from either FRGS or any other grants that were that you identify as equally fundamentals, because it is for a PRGS from fundamental research, you can now move on to PRGS, prototype research. Okay. So those either FRGS or your earlier grant, whatever may be a grant from your university, they must have been completed 100% and endorsed by your RMC. Okay. And it is enough for you to develop a prototype. All right. So they are looking, so cadangan must include one of this. Proof of concept, evaluation, upscaling, preclinical testing, or field testing. So you can do either A or B or C or D or E. Okay, and sometimes what we notice when we evaluate is that a lot of people sometimes they want to redo everything, like, so when we look at the methodology, we say, oh, you're redoing everything. It's not. From where you ended for whatever research you either FRGS or the one that you did at your university, where you finished, how do you continue from there? Okay, so it's not redoing entirely something like collect data again. No. Okay. So syarat, the syarat output, you must file at least one, so it's a 1 or 2 year project, and you must at the end, because for PRGS we will evaluate you 1 year after you've received the grant. So, and a lot of times we see zero filing even after the first year. Okay, so you must try and file at least within 1 year after you started the project. So what do you mean by harta intellect? Patent, copyright, industrial design, geographical indication, layout design of an integrated circuit, or trade secret. Okay. Of course, the most important one for PRGS, if you could file a patent. Okay. And the filing can be expensive. I think you're given up to 15,000 to put aside for application of your patents. Okay. So pemfilan, okay, you are allowed to file for all domains, for all sections, but copyright is only relevant if it's impactful. Okay, and if you are filing for trade secret, it must have gone through the process of evaluation at your institution, and it must have received endorsement from TTO office and your legal office, and you must, when you are being evaluated, you must bring this proof, or you must show it in your report, and you must apply for your domestic, apply for it domestically before you go to the international bodies. Okay. Right. Okay. So you just need to have one. Okay, so do not overclaim and say I can produce 2 or 3. Some people put patent. We've seen, very ambitious. They think that if we put more, you will likely get it now. And if you do get it, we want to see after 1 year that you have managed to fulfill all that. So to be safe, I suggest you just take 1. Okay, and if at the end of the day, after 1 or 2 years, you manage 3, that's excellent. But sometimes people put 3, and even at the first year, they haven't even filed anything. So that can be a problem. Okay, then your research will be labeled as being problematic, or they call it projek sakit, kena masuk hospital lah, projek sakit. That means there will be you will either be evaluated by people from your university, or you will be evaluated by people outside of university, like people like us. We need to go for site visits and all that, and we want to avoid all that. Okay, so just tick one, and so that you are not overburdened by having to produce so many. Okay, but if the end of the day you got 2 or 3, that's great. Okay, that would be an excellent project. Right, so they are looking for TRL 3 to 5. Okay, so what do we mean by 3 to 5? Okay, so TRL 1 is basic principle, so we're not looking for 1 and 2. So if you're formulating a concept, you're looking for framework, we're not interested in that. That's for, so we're interested in experimental proof of concept, which means analytical validation and proof of concept start active research and development. Okay, TRL 4, lab validation. So that means validation in laboratory environment, ready to bridge for technology transition. Or up to TRL 5, validation in real environment, where you go into the relevant environment and ready to enter technology development. So they will fund 3 to 5. So if let's say you think you've got something 6, 7, 8, there's not enough money for you to do all that. There's enough money because you can apply up to 500,000, okay? And that will be able for you to do 3 to 5, but not 6, 7, 8, 9. That one you need to go for other grants. Okay. I think that there used to be, I'm not sure whether there is now still, but there used to be PRGS 2.0, where you can ask up to 1 million. But I think the one current one, you can ask me a maximum of 500,000 only. Okay. Right. So you must have 2 years left in service. So someone like me who's got 3, 4 months in service cannot apply. Okay, so if you got 1 year in service and 1 year starts from, say, April, I don't think you can apply, because normally you probably would know by, say, July or August. So if let's say you are retiring in April next year, you don't have enough time, or so you work backwards. Okay. And then maklumat berkaitan, and then of course you need to update your migrants profile. Okay. And then if you are going to be on study leave or sabbatical or postdoctoral or industrial attachment in the country, outside the country, for more than 6 months, then you're not allowed to apply. Okay, but you're allowed to still be a member of the project. Okay. And you must have a co-researcher in the same area. Okay, so let's say na'udzubillah, you fall ill, or you suddenly you need to go overseas for more than 6 months and you need to be replaced. So the person replacing you must be in the same area of research, must be the same expertise. So let's say I am in arts and applied arts, the person who replacing me cannot be from medical area, so cannot be from engineering or whatever, must be in the same area. Okay, because this is the person who will replace you if you need to leave. Okay. And then you also need to write a little paragraph on risk assessment. So the risk would be technical, time, and budget. Okay, so this is compulsory that you write a, let's say let's say you put one low for each one. You still need to address why they are low. Maybe you talk about, so you use, the SWOT is strength, risk, and then O, opportunities, and T, threats. So you put, that's what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, what are the opportunities, and what are the threats. You put, then we see, or you understand the problems you may face while doing the project. So this is, and there is this caveat about working in current conditions, pandemic, travel. Of course, now hopefully there's no more lockdown, whatever. But in case one should come again, then you should also consider, if you're traveling, what would you do if you couldn't travel? Okay. So this is how you are going to be evaluated by people like us. Okay. 5% for completeness of project background, meaning you need to write about, I will go through each one. 5% for problem statement clearly defined. 15% methodology is robust and will enhance commercial viability. 15% prototype development shows commercial. So you see, sorry, I'm repeating here. Prototype development strategies indicate characteristics that can enhance competitiveness. Prototype development demonstrate originality and innovativeness. So you see, the prototype development works out to be 40%. 15 here, 10 here, 15 here. Okay, so pay attention to how you answer, how you write about your prototype development. Where you focus on viability, competitiveness, originality, and innovativeness. Okay. And then experience, qualifications, and capability of project leader. And we will look at your my grants profile when we for you and for all your members. So make sure that your members in your team also update their profiles on my grant. Appropriateness of research team, and then 10% contribution of prototype development. So again, you see prototype development. So actually it's about 50% of prototype development that you're being evaluated on. And translational potential, whether from the lab, you can go to the people out there. Okay, whether it's, and whether you're solving, normally is to do with solving problems. Will your prototype solve a national problem? Okay, will it ease some problems that we are currently facing? So if you remember YB Datuk Sri Khalid Nordin's speech, he wants something that is tangible, meaning something that will work. Okay. So 10% translational potential, this is what it is. I think I've said all this just now. Okay. So you must work with an industrial partner, and you must provide a letter of intent. Okay. So teknologi kejuruteraan, and then if you're in social sciences, you also need a partner agency. For example, if let's say we have seen so many where they say they want to do apps. Okay. So preferably if you're doing apps, your partner should be someone who will be able to sell the app for you. Because you got the money for 2 years. Once the 2 years are, once you finish your money, who will develop the app? Because app, you got app 1.0, and then apps always get upgraded. So who will do the upgrading after that? Uh, Therefore, we will scrutinize your partner to see if your partner can take on the project, or can help you develop once the project ends. And then for patent search, this is compulsory for you, and you need to go to this website, lens.org. And normally, you've got this table which says, is it an trending? Is upward trend, or is it a downward trend? So you must tick upward trend. Is downward trend, no point you doing the project. So it's not enough to just submit, to tick the boxes, but in your form itself, in the migrant proposal, there is a blank space for you to say, okay, let's say there are 20 patents available worldwide. So you're attempting to add maybe the 21st one. So you must say in what way your app, your work, your prototype departs from whatever is already available. Okay, so you must always show in what way your work is original, innovative, and so on. Okay. So I shall go through one by one. This is 5% completeness of project background. So here, what they want to know is you finished your project, your previous one, and from that one you want to move to this PRGS. So what did you achieve in the previous FRGS or other fundamental research? Why is it important to get this funding to extend your research? Which TRL was the previous research? So your previous research could be 1 or 2. Should be 2 lah at least. Okay, then you're moving to 3, right? So you must put all this in your completeness of project background. Okay, make sure you write nicely, be clear to the reader, explain, this is what I did. And then and I think you should also add one paragraph where you say in what way you are fulfilling MYSTIE, SDG, and WKB. Because you are supposed to prototype this prototype. If you remember the philosophy behind PRGS. So always go back to, okay, am I fulfilling the philosophy of PRGS? Will this prototype be helpful to solve a certain problem? Okay. Then problem statement, 5%. The problem statement identifies and defines the issue. So what's the issue at hand? What is it you're doing? Describe the current environment, not what the weather is like, but let's say you're working on I will give some examples of what we have given in the past. Like, for example, there was one we gave on some years ago. We gave on alternative examination for traditional musical instruments. So how we have examinations for piano, for guitar, for violin, but there are no exams for, say, what is it? For local instruments. So there was one researcher who wanted to provide the local examination. Okay. So when you talk about the current environment, you must talk about how most instruments have examination curriculum and board, but there isn't one for local musical instruments. So that is what we mean by current environment. So talk about where is the gap. Okay, establishes the gap for that requires for product to be funded. It serves as a means of communication which helps get project buy-in. Stakeholders confirm the issue and objectives are appropriately stated. So you must also talk about, maybe refer to certain reports that say that this is important for us to develop and so on. Okay. Methodology 15%, and we're looking for robustness, commercial viability. Okay. And you have to be very clear with your methodology. Sometimes if you just write, because it's worth 15%, which is quite a lot, if you just write, one paragraph, it may not be enough. I suggest, like phase one. Phase one, this is what I will do. Phase two, phase three, subtitle, make it. Because the reviewers may have to read, 10, 20 proposals. So when we see a proposal that's very clearly signposting is really important. So have very clear signposts. Okay. Right. And then, okay. And the important thing with methodology is that whatever you indicate in your methodology, it will be reflected again in your budget. Let's say you need to go to a locality to try it out, or maybe you need to have a lab. You need to buy certain chemicals. You need to, whatever test you need to do. You need to have stakeholders meeting, to see whether this is something there's something they will take up. So put that in your methodology and then make sure that it's there again in your budget. So let's say you want to rent a lab, you want to rent something, you want to buy certain things because you need it. So always have, I think, what I would do if I were you is to have, when you do your draft, put 2 column, one methodology, one budget. So as you write your methodology, you put the budget. Okay, because we will always, in that way also, as reviewers, we will not slash your budget, but we will slash your budget if we don't see it in your methodology and you simply put it in your budget. Okay. Okay, so this is prototype development. Remember, prototype development, about 50%, but different criteria, of course. So commercial viability, provide a solution that is desired, practicable, and viable. Okay, so I remember somebody wanting to show us this prototype for prayers. When we need to use, normally we use water, but if there's no water, we'll use soil, right? So the person came and said, this is something very practical. So we said, okay, show it to us. So he wanted to multiply this prototype. But he brought this bag, like the size of a laptop. And we said, oh, we thought it would be something small, like something I could put my handbag or something. But it's something so big that so it may be something that is desired to have this, but it's not practical at all because you have to carry this big bag. It's like the briefcase, size of a briefcase, which is not practical at all. Okay. So remember, whatever prototype you are attempting to design, is it desirable? Solution that is desirable. Solution. It's a solution, practical and viable. meet the user's demands, but also simple to adopt and have revenue model. So you have a model that how would you sell this? Sometimes from the lab, like we see some robots. We've seen a lot of robots being developed by researchers. So you say, how much does this robot cost for you to have one robot like this? You say 30,000. So if I want 100, how much would it cost? Or maybe 10,000 each, still it's a lot of money, right? So it must be something that is also, I don't know, in a way, um, uh, affordable. Place an emphasis on feasibility and viability as well. Ensure that your product is sustainable. So with a lot of apps that we saw, um, because sometimes the person, like the head of project wants to develop an app, but he or she does not have the capacity to do so. She has the idea, but she doesn't know the how to do it. So in the budget, it shows I will hire a developer, and a, a lot of the money will go towards the developer. So we say, so what happens when the developer has given you the app and you need to upgrade, but you don't have money to do so? So so if so in cases of where you are using technology and you know that it needs to be upgraded all the time, make sure if you are not an expert on developing this, your partner, your partner must not be somebody you have to pay to do it. It must be somebody maybe from your own university that shares your passion for developing apps, okay, and has the expertise to do so. Okay, so remember to make it sustainable, meaning think about what will happen once the money finish, when you finish your money, what do you do? Okay. Um, Things to consider, opportunity recognition. Okay. So um, first, uh, originality and innovativeness. So you have to recognize, okay, what there is an opportunity in this. Like we've got so many problems in the country. Okay. So you have to recognize there is an opportunity, but of course, based on the research you already did, uh, based on neglected need in the market and your technical insights as scientist, engineer, or whatever, as in your area of expertise. Okay, so you need to think about this. And then concept development, your original concept is fleshed up in this step with utmost attention to detail. Okay. And problem solving, it tackles the problem you identified in the unattended market need. So it could be, like people selling things on TikTok because they know there is a need for it and people are making lots of money, and solving problem as well. So this is what you have to do in your when you write up this section for originality and innovativeness. So I think you need to say about, okay, what opportunity arises for you, and why does that opportunity arise? Is it because the market has been neglected, or because you've got the technical insight to do something? Okay. Um, So prototype development, a workable prototype, a draft, a testable outline, okay, and write clearly for yeah, and then of course basing also on what you have searched on lens.org, and you see and you know that this is something that is valuable and contributes to Malaysia's innovation. Okay. And then prototype strategies, 10% indicate characteristics that can enhance competitiveness. So you may engage different stakeholders. So, like when you talk about strategies, so you've got this prototype. How can you ensure that it will sell or it will take off? Okay. So you will engage several stakeholders, maybe interviews, surveys, focus group brainstorming, observations, whatever. Okay. And if you engage stakeholders early in the design process, results in formulation of product requirements that are more aligned with the demands of end users and stakeholders and fit with the environment in which products will be deployed. Okay. Once I did a research on Pencipta, Pencipta was many years ago, and to see whether it should be carried on or it should just be stopped, because we were spending lots of money doing Pencipta. Like one university has to, at that point in time, like like us, like our UKM, we had to give 100,000. And then you got to pay for your researchers to be part of Pencipta. So was it worth the while? And like the ROI from the Pencipta, was it returning enough for each researcher? So to do that, I went to see the people at the manufacturers federation to see, okay, when they want to look at products, what are they looking for? So I remember two things that the board, so I met the board members. They said they're looking for affordability, feasibility, and whether it's green, whether it is kind to the environment or not. So maybe these are things you should. So what I'm saying is that engage stakeholders so that, sometimes as researchers, we like to think, oh, our work, our product will be useful, but it's all in our head. And people out there don't share the same view. Okay. So you need to engage stakeholders so that okay, this is something they will most likely need to use or need to have. Okay. So did I say? Okay, I think this one is again originality, innovativeness. Then track record and composition of team 10%. So evidence one is quite easy to get, and make sure your team is well balanced, meaning if you are a professor, you have young career researchers or mid career researchers in your team as well, because you should be seen to be mentoring the younger ones. And if you're a young researcher, don't put all young researchers in the team, because we want to know also, okay, you are young and maybe not so experienced in heading a research. So put one senior person, professor, associate professor, to say that this person can act as your mentor. Okay. And then contribution of prototype development. Oh, okay. So I forgot. So this one is prototypes that impact humanity. Sorry, can you see this? And the purpose of increasing wealth, prototypes that have potential to generate new knowledge based innovation, and prototypes that have the potential to contribute to national strategic aspirations. Okay, so when you talk about contribution of prototype development, talking about wealth creation, will it make not only you rich, but people who will engage in this, who will use your product, richer? Will it enhance the quality of life? Will it create or consolidate new industries? Okay, so these are things you need to consider. Okay, and then translational. Okay, choose your partners, collaborators wisely. Okay, those in a position to make decisions. So don't use, like sometimes we see people using just any who they can grab to be their partner. So your partner must be someone you've thought about, who can perhaps either give you something in kind, like you need a lab and they say, oh, you can use my lab for free, for example. Okay. Or they are already in the business of making apps and therefore they can easily sell your app. So you share, maybe you can share in discussion with your university, you can do some kind of collaboration, 80-20, whatever, percentages for profit. So all this needs to be written, and we want to check. Okay, so patent search, risk assessment, intellectual property, also you should indicate when you talk about your translational potential. Okay. So when we talk about patents, these are the things that, I took this from Pearson strategy. Enhances shareholder value, strengthens business relationships, protects competitive advantage, differentiates product, protects pricing strategies, potential for revenue generation. So if I mean, there are so many, if you just Google, there'll be so many examples of this. But if you can just take one or two of these things to put in one of your, when you talk about prototype development, you put one or two of this as your rationale for wanting to get the funding for your product. Okay. Right, this is lens.org. Okay, so don't forget to check it. I mean, you have to check it out, and it's not just ticking the right box, but putting a narrative why your prototype is important to be funded. Okay. Then for money, allowed is only 48,000. Okay, very little, and over 2 years or 1 or 2 years. That's not much, so you have to try and work within this budget. And then this is perjalanan, sewaan. Now you're not allowed to buy laptops, but you can rent. And then whatever things you need to buy for your research, repairs, and then things like um, services. Okay, you're not allowed to present papers. So they won't pay your fees, but you can, you can pay for hospitality, printing, and so on. Okay. So this one is all available in the buku panduan. You can have a look. Okay, tidak dibenarkan. Okay, menghasilkan plan, business plan. No, we will not market survey, product exhibition and promotion. So like, pencipta, you want to submit your product. You cannot use your grant money to do that. Your university must pay. Your RMC should pay for it. And then to go to any seminars, whatever, not you can't use your grant money. Okay. So all this again, I can send the things to, the copy of my slides to your RMC. So you will be graded between 1 to 10. So we've got the criteria, like prototype, all that, adding up to 100%. Then for each section, you will be graded 1 to 10. So for you to be able to secure the grant, you must get 7 above. Okay. So if let's say you get let's say you're getting 7, 7, 8, 8, 8, 8, suddenly you get 1, 6, that's it. Okay. Your marks will fall below 75% or 80%, and then you will not be considered at all. Okay. So, then of course at your RMC level, your project must be evaluated by at least 2 people, and make sure that the evaluators are either professors or associate professors. Okay. And then and RMCs must train the sometimes you get new evaluators, and sometimes an evaluator may look at the proposal and think, oh, this is a good proposal, but he needs to just redo objective 1, or must redo this translational potential, rewrite a bit. But because the evaluator has given 8, 8, 9, 9, 9, it will automatically, the system will say highly recommended, and it will bypass the applicant. So the applicant couldn't review couldn't make the corrections. So that's important for you to train the evaluators, so that even for one section that the applicant must redo or rework, it must be resubmitted for them to do the corrections. Okay. And the RMC cannot change any because there are two evaluators. So one person may give R, the other person may give HR. The RMC cannot change HR. Either the RMC add up the marks and then divide it by 2, then you know either way it's R or HR, or find a third person to do to remark, to moderate and see whether it belongs to the R recommended pile or to the highly recommended pile. The same with one person giving NR, not recommended, and one person giving R. You cannot change the NR to R without having a third person to look at the proposal. Okay. This one, and also do not, like say you are resubmitting your previous, like maybe last year you submitted one, but you think and the evaluator probably gave you some comments and you want to resubmit, bearing in mind the comments, making all the corrections. But if you put exactly the same as what you did last year, the system will alert us to say, similarity detected. So I suggest you have to rework rework a lot of it, change the words and all that so that the system does not capture similarity between the old one and the new one. Okay. So I'm giving you some examples of comments by evaluators. Okay. Completeness of project background. Tidak dinyatakan kenapa harus dibangunkan sistem yang lain dari sistem sedia ada. Okay, like you want to develop a system, but you don't say what is wrong with the old system that you need to develop a new one. Okay, the positioning of the proposal is mixed for X or Y. So I don't know what it means because it wasn't me who wrote this. I'm getting a lot from other people. It should not be for both. Okay, so you have to be. I suppose you have to be. You have to be very clear to your reader. There is no room for vagueness or for misunderstanding. Okay, the background does not clearly explain and describe the prototype to be developed. Reader was given only the rationale for the development of such prototype. However, the scientific merit of the development, especially the process towards the product, was very vague. Okay, so clearly explain what you want to develop. Okay, this process is just a mutation of the previous work. Meaning they couldn't see anything much from your your initial, fundamental work to what you're applying right now. Then kajian ini adalah sekadar adaptasi daripada buku teks sedia ada. Okay, I didn't read all this, okay? But these are some comments from various evaluators. The problem is not clearly stated. The working principles behind the solution is vague. It can be argued that such a prototype or similar product is available in the market. The researcher did not show precisely the components of the product that will be different and advanced from the available product used by MOE and in the market. So, a lot of times, many times when I evaluate products, a lot of times the user will be either MOE or MOHE. So, macam ada beribu-ribu orang apply for PRGS, semua target MOE. But MOE doesn't have the money to buy or take on to adopt. So try and go beyond schools, I think. Yeah. Because the market, like so many problems out there that you can solve. So don't just target the MOE or MOHE. Okay, and then what we do is normally we would just Google, like, when somebody said oh, this is the first product to measure uh, an incoming heart attack. You know, like like the gadget can predict when you're gonna get a heart attack. This is the first one in the market. So we will quickly check either, you know, the app, when I say app to detect heart attacks, and there's so many out there. Okay. So don't say you're the first one, but say, okay, let's say they are already available, but what is special about what you want to develop? Kenyataan permasalahan ini kurang menunjukkan signifikasi kajian dan juga pembentukan dan kegunaan prototype. Kurang jelas dan kurang pasti sama ada bajet ini perlu dipertimbangkan. So that means they don't understand your problem statement. So write very clearly what is the issue at hand. Masalah kajian tidak dinyatakan baik dan jelas yang mendorong kajian ini dilakukan. Okay. Methodology is unclear, tidak dinyatakan dan jelas bagaimana ianya akan dilakukan, terlalu simplistik, tiada menunjukkan secara terperinci dalam proses kajian dan pembentukan prototype. That's why I say methodology should not just be one paragraph. It should be phase 1, I will do this. Phase 2, I will do this. Phase 3, until the end, until you reach, I don't know, you're able to reach TRL 5. Okay. Kurang prototype development shows commercial viability, kurang jelas bagaimana menaikkan enhance commercial viability. Okay, so use the things that I talk to you about, that you see a potential there. Apakah perbezaan prototype kajian ini dengan prototype kajian terdahulu? Need to compare with some existing examples. So for example, I'm sure yours is not the only one. So you must say, okay, this is available in the market right now, but my one is different. Okay, always show how you depart from whatever is existing right now. Prototype development strategy show characteristics that can enhance competitiveness, kurang jelas dan kurang pasti. Banyak kurang pasti manakala pengaji tidak dapat menerangkan apa kesan dan impact XXX tu, the impact of your gadget lah or your product. Need to compare with existing apps. So a lot of people are developing apps. I know our world will revolve around apps, but so remember, if you are one person wanting to do an app, think about its sustainability once the project ends. Okay, that's my best advice for you, for those who want to do apps. Also, if you're building robots, like so many we saw, they're building robots. So I thought like they want to train kids, young children, how to build robots. So we say, okay, where do you get these parts from? They got it from Shopee. Okay, so it's therefore we say, so actually you just putting everything, you just got few things from Shopee and then you're putting it together, which doesn't solve the problem. Okay. Prototype development demonstrates originality and innovativeness. They are already in the market number of this. The applicant one of whatever product. We should have examined all of them and indicate how novel his proposal vis-a-vis these ready-to-purchase products. Saya pasti sudah ada di pasaran model-model yang mempunyai ciri-ciri yang sama, hampir sama di pasaran. Should have compared with those available in the market and show how it is superior or better than the others. So always show that you are sensitive to what is available. Okay. PI has no experience managing FRGS or risk grant prior to this. The person pointed to be has a different area of expertise. See what I say about choosing the person next who will be able to replace you. An experienced fundamental researcher but untested in prototype development. Okay, so if you are like this, then maybe you have the mentor should be someone who knows, who has developed prototypes before. So what you can do in your weakness, you can say, I may be a young researcher, but in your strength, you say, but my researcher in my team has developed, I don't know, 5 prototypes, and he will be able to mentor the progress of this research. Okay? Preparedness of research. There are too many members coming from different institutions, so it's best to just work within your institution, maybe just one person from another institution, but not. This is not LRGS or not LRGS, so you need to have 3 or 4 people from different institutions. This is PRGS, so there are too many team members suggesting that some might just be free riders. Okay. That can contribute to wealth creation, enhancement of quality of life or create or consolidate new industries. Tidak dinyatakan dengan baik dan jelas apakah sumbangan kajian ini kepada masyarakat dan negara secara umumnya. So, yeah, so this is where you put your, you talk about, okay, wealth creation, what? Enhancement of quality life, what? So, you take the keywords from here and write your own promise of what you will fulfill. Need more explanation, not very convincing as there is no reference to numerical proofs or earnest discussion. Okay, so cannot temberang lah. Kadang-kadang kita suka goreng, jangan goreng. Because sometimes these people, the evaluators, they know what you have, what you attempt to say, and many hanging sentences or incomplete sentences that do not deliver the correct message. So please write carefully, topic sentence, qualifying details, and so on. Poor English in places makes it difficult to understand what the researcher is trying to convey. The applicant makes sweeping statements that lack references. Kadar similariti kajian ini adalah sangat tinggi, iaitu melebihi XXX. Ditambah lagi kajian semua ini, tajuk ini sudah banyak dilakukan oleh pengkaji-pengkaji lain. See, they will check. I mean, they will not check. It will appear automatically. Okay. So what are we looking for? We're looking for innovation, viability with given funds, commercial potential, meeting the national agenda, and marketing pitch. Okay. So what is good and what's not so good. Okay. So like this one, this is called Decoponics Rack, which won the gold medal in ITEX 2015. Okay, so this is a clay-based medium, and this one, clay-based medium for screen printing. So I was involved in the progress of these two research products. So this one was, it's meant for if you're living in PPRT flats and you don't have land, people living in small apartments, but they want to be, everybody can grow sort of thing. Everybody can be sustainable in terms of growing vegetables. So they've developed this decoponics. So you could move it out in and out. You can put in the toilet, put in the small balcony, put in anywhere you like. So that was modular system, easy, and you can stack it up. Like I can afford to buy only one level. After that, I can add on. And this one is an eco paste, and the paintings became really beautiful. So it was, if students were to buy paints, it can cost a lot of money. But this one is 10 ringgit. I think the cost of it later on when they've done it in bulk, only 10 ringgit per tub, and it can be used for so long, and it was cheap material. It was so this is called eco paste. So both got funded, and I think both are successful now. This one, my masjid mobile application. So this is so it's called Islam Perlis, waktu solat, program, doa, fatwa, kiblah. So at this point in time, like when it was given, it was good. And then this one was apparel for hospital patients, disabled or aging people. So this was wearability of garments for the physically challenged elderly that will enhance their quality of life. So that was another product that was given money, okay, for old and disabled people, okay. And then this one the one I talked about, assessment certification of traditional Malaysian music based on the international graded music exam model, which was really good. Okay, so also got money because assessment certification for traditional Malaysian music was not available um, before, but now I think they're working towards making it available. Okay. Um, these are not so good. Okay, rejected. Like then. Teaching modules, promoting Al-Quran appreciation in STEM teaching, enhancing visualization skill among STEM students, mathematics teaching in dynamic environment, Islamic education through interactive audio book software, integrated teacher's guide to introduce natural science from the perspective of the Quran, interactive climate change web learning for secondary schools. So these are, macam it's not, you can see better ones available already at available quite cheaply. Okay, games online, card games to enhance mathematics. People are using phones or whatever, but this time you're still using cards. Database of underprivileged children. So we couldn't see in what way database can improve, can create wealth creation. So this is the carta alih for pemantauan. Once you get the money, uh, so just hope that that this carta alih will be useful for you, because you'll be one of the persons getting the grant and developing something. Okay, so make your research relevant, meaning look at the problems we're currently facing, and do you have solutions to the problems which are research driven, meaning do you have a product. Okay, that's it. What time is it? 11. Okay, that's it. Stop sharing.
All right, thank you very much, Prof. It's a very expanded our insight towards the what is the needed in the PRGS grant actually. Okay, kita tengok dekat sini, we have a look whether we got the question or not. Okay, sekejap ya Prof, saya bacakan satu soalan. Okay, Prof. So what is the differentiate between RA and RO, and what is the impact towards the weightage kepada penilaian projek?
Okay. It doesn't have to be this the RA or RO. It can be either one. So for example, like FRGS, you must have a GRA, meaning the person must be a student at your university. But for RA or RO, it need not be a student from you. So you can get anyone outside
Okay.
your institution. Okay?
All right.
So, and then it's up to you, because who wants to get paid? Let's say you work over 2 years, right? That means 24,000. I mean, 24,000 is like 2,000 a month, which is not much at all. So you decide at what point you want this RO to work. So no one, I think getting paid 2,000 ringgit per month is not enough now, especially if we are in Klang Valley. So you have to, but because you only have 48,000 to work with, you decide, you will hire somebody at the beginning and towards the end, maybe, so the person is not doing full-time work for you, but is doing some of the work for you. Okay? Yeah.
Right, so maksudnya the implication kepada sesuatu projek itu tak adalah dia terletak kepada
No, tak ada sangat lah. Yeah, I think the important thing is because it does not, we are not helping macam FRGS the person to get a degree, either masters or PhD. Tak ada. This is for you to be able to get the product up to TRL 3 or 4 or 5. Yeah.
All right, understood.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one. All right. Prof, just now you did mention about the, what is this? Oh, the patent, the copyright of the product. So budget dia memang kita dah kena keep aside. I mean the implementation of the financial implementation tu, we need to keep aside berapa sepatutnya yang kita perlu letakkan lah untuk IP ya Prof.
15,000, yeah, 15,000 maximum. So
15,000.
let's say you declare patent, you kena taruh 15,000.
Okay, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Itu
So put
memang
aside.
clear lah.
Don't forget to put aside the money, because if you don't put aside, then we will not we will not give you any money. Yeah.
Okay, right, clear. And lagi satu Prof, ya untuk letter of intent, letter of intent, the
Intent, yeah.
collaborator, ya.
Right.
Iaitu memang perlu ada persetujuan daripada collaborator and the
Yes.
panel will look into it, right?
Yeah, yeah. So the letter that you submit together with your application tu, mesti ada letterhead from the, it's not just an email you send to the collaborator to say, oh, I'm working on this, would you like to join me? Then the person say yes. So you know, whoever you're working with must have the letterhead.
I
Okay?
see. All right.
And sometimes, that's why sometimes we are a bit more apprehensive, or we're a bit more, when you send a collaborator who comes from, say, a Ministry of Education ke, kan? Because if let's say you want to develop something, if it's a module, maybe it's not so bad. But if it's an app, that means it's them buying the app from you and so on. So it's be very careful who you choose as a collaborator, because it's an important person to ensure whether your prototype will be
Algorithm
successful
level.
or not.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay, but normally kalau kita buat IP, because we have the collaborator as well, so the IP is fall under university ataupun macam mana, Prof?
That one you will decide. You will decide at the beginning of your hopefully at the beginning of your project, you decide with the collaborator how you're
Collaborator?
going to share the IP, because IPs can be shared. Sebab itulah kalau macam let's say a project which say has 3 collaborators from 3 universities, they all want to share IP. UKM 30%, UiTM 30%, yang ni 40%, you know. But if you're working with people from UiTM, you own 100% of the IP or patent, whatever. So, but with your collaborator, you have to decide how you will share the IP.
Even though kalau dapat royalty dan sebagainya kan, Prof? Itu memang
That one
kena clear lah.
Yes, you kena share lah.
Okay, ya ini pun selalunya dia akan menjadi satu isu juga because of bila kita nak memilih ahli di dalam kumpulan pun macam komen yang what we can see just now, yang feedback daripada Prof tadi, jangan terlalu banyak from others university. So berkemungkinan impact dia it's more towards the pecahan-pecahan IP pun akan berlaku sedikit isu dekat situ. Ya, tapi pemberatnya Prof, okay, might be we can choose one member from UPM, let's say one member from UKM, but the rest of the members is from UiTM. Katalah 3 lagi ahli adalah daripada UiTM. So insyaAllah panel akan melihat keseimbangan itu juga ke?
Ya, betul. Ya, we will look at, kita tengok gabungan ahli dalam team tersebut. And because I think you have to write the role of each ahli. Apa peranan setiap ahli tu. Jadi dia tak naklah orang yang penunggang gratis.
Exactly, betul.
Pembonceng gratis, pembonceng gratis. Yang
Pembonceng
membonceng
gratis.
for free.
Yelah, sebab sekarang ni kita tidaklah lagi nak membudayakan pembonceng gratis tersebut kan. And actually betul Dr. Rafiq, pembonceng gratis. Sebab apa yang kita perlu, what we need to focus is how that we can groom the young researcher as well kan Prof? Okay. So any other soalan yang kita boleh tanyakan kepada Prof. Saya rasa kita kena tanya banyak-banyak dekat Prof sebab Prof dah mention this is the last session for
But
this
there are
year.
other people. I think there will be other people who will replace me this year lah, because I will
Yeah.
leave UKM in early August.
Prof start bercuti Ogos, but
Yes. Yeah.
oh okay, right.
Yeah.
Itulah
So I
kesibukan
may still evaluate this round. I will
for
still
this
evaluate
round.
PRGS, I think. Yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
right. Ada lagi tak soalan? Syahira ada soalan lagi?
Ya, I think all of you should read the buku panduan,
Hmm.
sebab kadang-kadang tu ada benda yang dah nyatakan dalam buku panduan tu, tapi sebab kita tak baca, kita tak apa ni, kita tak ikutlah. Jadi kadang kita akan we will not recommend because you failed to read the buku panduan. Maknanya you fail bukan apa-apa, TKO macam umpamanya you letak juga, you cannot put aside money for conference tapi you letak juga.
Hmm.
Because because I also evaluate from UKM. And I will say, dalam buku panduan ada ni, pasal apa tak, at least at UKM we will tell our applicants, jangan letak ni, didn't you read the buku panduan? So I would I suggest you all read buku panduan. It's quite short, but it tells you what you can or cannot do.
Hmm.
Kan?
Directly kan, cumanya
Yes.
bila tak concentrate for reading tu yang jadi sedikit masalah tu Prof. Kan dia masih mencuba kadang-kadang to put there to buy the instrument, laptop dan sebagainya.
Betul.
Itulah
Yes.
kesalahan kecil. Yalah. Alright.
Ah.
Ada apa-apa
And
lagi
then
soalan ke?
if you want to buy something, make sure you ada quotation from a legitimate vendor. You tak boleh screenshot Shopee or Lazada and put that as your, tak boleh. Okay,
Ini kita
so
kena minta dia
legitimate
punya LO
vendor,
lah ni.
quotation je, tak payah LO.
Quotation, I see. Okay.
Quotation. Like say, whatever you want to ni, you kena taruh quotation. Preferably, I suppose, is the vendors affiliated to UiTM lah. Macam UKM, we will put vendors affiliated to UKM. Sebab nanti senang, because every time you nak bayar, macam nak beli yang 20,000, kena ada 3-4, the process of bernahari can be quite long and tedious.
Betul.
Therefore we will also check bila you kata nak beli apa-apa tu, whether it's got, the quotation is coming from a legitimate agency.
Exactly. Senanglah. Proses PRGS hanya 2 tahun. Nanti nak dapatkan harga pun ambil masa juga kan. Okay, ada soalan juga. Ni. Alright. Just now yang kita dah tanya adakah RA lantikan sementara dan RO lantikan kontrak termasuk dalam bayaran KWSP?
Okay, kalau saya tak silap, tapi yang ni I think biasa-biasa ni the RMC will look after. Macam I'm not, if I'm not mistaken, even RA pun you kena bayar KWSP, because for us, at UKM we will pay KWSP for RAs and ROs. Tapi lantikan tu kena 6 months lah, 6 months lantikan. Okay, so I'm not sure with UiTM, tapi at UKM, even RAs, we will pay dia punya KWSP. Okay, and then is because sometimes kita buat 48,000, tapi because I remember when I had RAs, then I will get a letter, let's say kerajaan umumkan nak bagi RM500 insentif kan kepada yang let's say yang DS 41 sampai DS 54 dapat 500, let's say bonus tahun itu. Then I will get a letter from my bendahari to say, do you want to give bonus to your RA or RO or not?
Kita boleh ikut sekali the circular yang
Di
pada
UKM we
ketika
do.
itu. I see.
Kat UKM kita buat. So I'm not sure about you whether you do that or not. But so you have to bear in mind lah benda-benda macam duit-duit ni kan. Because nanti you so that means this may be attractive to the RO because as I said, the money is not great. So little. Yeah.
Alright, harap dapat menjawab soalan daripada Dr. Zaini
Memang kena
Haryati.
bayar. Memang kita bayar KWSP for both RA and RO at UKM. I'm not sure about UiTM. You bayar. But I suppose I don't know. RA ni macam umpamanya RO ni dapat tak perkhidmatan, let's say macam medical. Does the university or you need to take from your, or is not indicated in the macam for example RA, when I was taking a lot of RAs, they don't get medical benefits.
I see.
So these are things that you have to clarify with your human resource. Because I think berbeza-beza lah dia punya tu.
Alright. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Zaini. Alright. Any question to raise?
Assalamualaikum Prof dan Doktor.
Waalaikumsalam.
Saya ada satu soalan sebenarnya berkait juga sebenarnya dengan FRGS kan.
Betul.
Sebenarnya hari ini last day untuk dalam my class. Sorry lah, saya tanya mungkin sesuai juga.
No problem.
Boleh teruskan.
Okay, berkaitan dengan letter of intent, satu lagi saya baru dapat feedback daripada kementerian lah. Cumanya macam Prof sebut tadi kena ada letterhead dan sebagainya. Tapi feedback tu saya dapat daripada email. Jadi letterhead tu dia tiada. Cumanya kat dalam tu ada list macam email smalltech.gov.my contoh macam tu. Is it okay Prof?
Preferably sebab kan FRGS tu pun beribu-ribu orang apply. So if somebody could get a letterhead from the same agency as you, then they will probably give. So you minta je. It's because I think it's not hard for them. They can just dia kata boleh tak saya mohon untuk Puan gunakan letterhead and then send as an attachment to you, and then you then attach that attachment.
Okay. Okay, saya minta izin dia untuk gunakan lah ya kan. Alright. Thank you Prof.
Cuma Dr. Nurul, I also like suggest yang the person you're working with from the kementerian tu, dia mesti somebody yang a level yang boleh buat executive decisions. Dia tak boleh junior officers. Kalau junior officers tu kan dia boleh tukar tempat lain, dia berhenti kerja. Tapi kalau tahap yang dah pengarah level tu, yang bila kata okay, this is ni, dia kata oh I will take it up. Macam the person can make decision to say I will bring this up to the top management. You know?
I see.
Yes. So that's my advice to friends.
Tapi yalah prosedur dekat kementerian ni kan biasanya memanglah kita hantar surat dekat bos dia. But then pegawai dia yang contact kita tu maklumkan yang they are willing to collaborate dan sebagainya. So macam mana tu?
You cakap dengan pegawai tu, saya cakap pada bos.
Alright. Okay. Thank you Prof. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Right, saya buka lagi kepada beberapa soalan. Silakan. Dalam chat box pun so far tak ada. Okay. Ada yang dekat Syahira ada tak? Tak ada ya?
Tak ada Doktor.
Tak ada. Right. Okay. So Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much Prof. Sangat-sangat bermanfaat. Sangat-sangat very great sharing session from Prof. Kita dapat first hand lah daripada Prof, di mana kita boleh tahu apa feedback dan komen daripada penilai. So all those comment that we get just now, we try to enhance, even though to give our spirit lah supaya tidak membuat lagi kesilapan dan cuba memenangi PRGS lah untuk 2023 insyaAllah. Alright. So Alhamdulillah
Yeah,
on
yeah.
behalf of TNCPI, I would like to thank you very much to our speaker. Saya silap pronounce nama Prof tadi. Memang
No,
confused.
no worries. Tak apa. It's okay. Don't
Prof
worry. Okay,
Ruzy Suliza. I ingat je Hashim sama surname kita, okay?
oh, okay.
Itu yang
Ya.
tersilap
Dia
kan?
beradik mak
Okay.
lain.
Dia belajar buat lain. Dia tersasar. Okay, thank you very much Prof for the informative and very interesting tips yang telah diberikan, and I hope our researcher will look forward to apply the PRGS, and please do submit this PRGS as well. So thank you again for attending our today's webinar. So we encourage you to connect with us. Okay, insyaAllah kita ada recorded version dekat YouTube channel TNCPI UiTM. So apa-apa sahaja maklumat kalau tertinggal, kalau termasuk lambat tadi, we can just straight away to go to the TNCPI Facebook as well. And hopefully I really appreciate Prof for being with us today. Alhamdulillah. InsyaAllah kalau perlukan lagi khidmat Prof, walaupun Prof dah dikatakan last untuk tahun ini, tapi tak apa.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Sebagai panel yang berpengalaman, insyaAllah kita akan invite dari segi menggunakan pengalaman Prof tu sebenarnya, insyaAllah. Okay, thank you very much semua.
I will send you my slides kejap lagi.
Sure. Thank you Prof.
Thanks. Okay, bye.
Right,
All the
thank
best to
you.
everyone.
Right, doakan juga ya Prof for UiTM, insyaAllah. Alright, thank you so much. Jangan lupa kepada semua, all the researcher, all the participants for today, please fill up this attendance form yang telah diberikan di dalam chat box ya. Okay, ampun maaf segala